Hello, 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 and welcome to the first episode of The Blind Observer with me, your host, Mender, The Blind Observer. You can follow me on Instagram at TheBlindObserver7. The Blind Observer was taken, don't know by who, but they're a phony. Anyways, this is the pilot episode, episode number 1. Please forgive me for wearing what I'm wearing, but I'm a Bears fan. The schedule just came out yesterday, and I'm a Cubs fan. We just swept the Marlins. And unfortunately, since this is the pilot episode, there's not a lot of money thrown into The Blind Observer, where we always have a nightcap and we always have a cocktail. And since there's not a lot of money, I'm in an unfinished garage, so there's no door, and it's 33 degrees in Chicago. So since I didn't want to keep putting this off, I'm like, I will dress up like this, support the Bears, support the Cubs, and kind of go from there. Anyways, as I said, for each episode of The Blind Observer, I will give you my observations, as I am legally blind and I'm a comedian, and I'm also a motivational speaker, and I like to be funny, and I like to also be positive, so I might take a different outlook on certain topics or things that occur in life. But while we have each episode, we will always feature a drink. And I've been saving this bottle of Blanton's for over 2 months, and I've never had Blanton's before, but I'm a huge fan of bourbon. I'm a huge fan of Buffalo Trace, which is probably one of my favorites, and this is one of their bottles of bourbon, so I've been saving it to open it for the debut pilot episode. So join me as we open this and pour ourselves a little nightcap and talk about basically who the hell I am and what we're going to be talking about while we do this YouTube channel of The Blind Observer. And again, too, my name is Mender. If you want to look for me on the internet, you can go to YouTube and type in Mender Highlights, and you can kind of see some things I've done in the past. You might see some stuff I've done as Ken, a blind guy, which you might be able to see some videos of a blind guy trying to catch a fast-pitch baseball, which was very entertaining and probably not the safest thing. But first off, let's try a sip of this Blanton's bourbon. That's pretty stellar right there. So anyways, this is how it's going to go. Since this is the pilot, the debut, the #1 episode where we have a nightcap, basically, I'm a Gemini. So I have 2 different personalities. One is very positive, very optimistic, creative, innovative, things of that nature. And the other side of me is comedic, right? So the comedic side of me is always kind of thinking in terms of something funny. So based on whatever episode we're on, it could be me taking a funny outlook on a certain topic, or it could be taking a very optimistic, positive outlook on a topic. So we'll kind of roll through the punches, from time to time based on like kind of what's flowing in the world at the time. And we'll have a drink to try and match that feeling. I'd also like to interview people and bring on different guests, specialties in the world of, whether it be a doctor or, a master somm, to try wine. I don't know any master somms, but, I know that it's hard to become a master somm. Maybe it's an athlete, maybe it's a politician. Throughout the time, I just love to have cocktails and learn about people and joke about things, but also be very positive and optimistic. And I would say my 2 personalities are molded by the fact that since I'm blind, legally blind, with a form of macular degeneration since 7, hence The Blind Observer 7, on the gram, as the kids like to call it, I kind of had my personalities molded at a very young age. You could either play a victim or you can make the best of a bad situation. And by no means do I have it that bad. Like, life's been good to me. Like, had a lot of great people that I've had in my life, from family and friends, and a lot of great opportunities. Been very fortunate, very blessed. But when life gives you something difficult, oftentimes we can either play the victim or we can make the most of it. So I've kind of always been that optimistic, person, and that was instilled on me, like, again, through family, my mother, my father, great teachers, great influencers. And then, the comedic side of things is the best way when people find out, like, you're blind or they don't know, is if you crack a joke and make light of your situation. People kind of are just like, oh, dude, this guy's funny, man. Like, he's cool with it. Like, and just, it's a great way to, like, make friends or break the ice. So those 2 things have kind of, like, molded me in that aspect. Since this is the pilot episode, I need to learn when to drink. Cheers. That's good. In addition, like one thing I do firmly believe when I do motivational speaking, I always end with to everyone that let's also not forget that happiness is a choice. Again, I've never, I don't think I have it the hardest in life. Life is definitely challenging. I'm not going to make light of that, especially in a day and age where like everyone uses technology and apps and their phones and Uber and Lyft. Like I can't do that without still other people's assistance. So it's challenging and you have to be patient with others. But we can't forget that like the one thing we can control is our own happiness. We can't control the things that happen to us in life often at times, but we can control how we react to it. We can control if we decide to be a happy person, a bitter person, a jaded person, or how we allow life to affect us. Don't get me wrong, I'm not happy every day. I have my issues from time to time too. I get frustrated, I get angry, but I always try and keep myself level and grounded in the sense of like, it could always be worse, and why make the day worse by choosing to have a bad attitude? But then again too, I'm also a Cubs fan, so, I've always had to be optimistic. It was 108 years before we won a World Series again. Cheers to the Cubs. Yes, they are 8-9 now, but 2016 we were the World Series champions. I was blessed to be at Game 7 in Cleveland to witness, or to be present, I shouldn't say witness, to be present for the Cubs winning the World Series. And that was awesome, and again, truly, truly blessed. My dad likes to call me Mender Gump, because he's like, I don't know what kind of purpose you serve in life, but you're always at some big events. And he's kind of true. I really don't know. Like I said, I think to an extent, not to be conceited, but because of my personality, my optimism, and my humor, I create a lot of good relationships, so people enjoy having me around. And hey, even if it's just to make them feel better, like I took this blind person to this event, I'll take it. I am not that prideful or proud to like pass up a great opportunity or a great bourbon like this Blanton's. So yeah, we're going to get on a lot of different stuff here when we start going through these episodes. And again, too, it could be something positive, it could be something comedic. I'm always writing to an extent. I don't do as much stand-up comedy as I used to. Like in the sense of like getting up on stage, and I do miss that, like that instant laugh, that instant gratification. I do a lot of like short stuff on the gram. I also post like a lot of cool pictures on my Instagram, or funny pictures that I see, because life's too short to like not take it seriously, or not take it seriously, but not be so serious. Like if we can't smile and laugh and love every day, like what in God's name is the point, right? So kind of focusing on different aspects of life in that way. So if you want to follow me on the gram, you can kind of get to know me a little bit more as these episodes roll out, and you'll start to see like, who I am more as, again, these episodes develop, and like my type of sense of humor, also how very optimistic and creative I am in terms of like some ideas, some episodes down the pipeline, or some great ideas I have, but I don't know what the hell to do with them. I think they're great ideas. I think some of them are billion-dollar ideas, but I don't know who to turn to. I've emailed Mark Cuban, I've emailed Mark Zuckerberg about one particular idea that I will share in a future episode, and they didn't get back to me, so I really don't know what to do with it. And plus, it's not my passion, and I believe you should chase your passion in life. And I also don't think you should chase money. I've never been about money. I've been about happiness. Case in point, there's so many people that I have met in my 37 years, almost 38 years now in life, that are constantly worried about money and material possessions and keeping up with their neighbors, that they're just not happy, and it's sad. It's a mindset. Oftentimes in life is a mindset, and we need to be like cognizant and aware of like where we are every day, and not just every day, but like where we are and where we're going. Because I think like that's a big message that like I think we should all hit home. One thing that I do in my life coaching is I often tell my clients to think of what you want in the future to be this mountain in the distance, right? and we're on this road getting to the mountain. And as we get closer, the mountain gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It becomes more realistic that we're going to get to this mountain. But on that road to the mountain, life happens, right? We might get a flat tire, and that flat tire might, detour us for a while. We might have taken a wrong turn being like a job, a relationship, kids, things like that. So we stop on the way to the mountain. We still see the mountain in the distance, but we stop. And maybe we have kids for 15, 20 years, and then your kids grow up, and you're like, I still want to get my college degree. And so you get back on that road and you chase that mountain. So again, that mountain's there for us to obtain that goal, but life happens along the way, and as long as we're aware of that and recognize that, it's okay to not get there in X amount of time. It's okay to let life events happen, whether we get sick, like I said, get married, things happen in life. That's why they call it life. So that's one thing to recognize as I speak to, and I'll constantly throw in different tools or metaphors or things along with my jokes because I've got the dual personalities, the Gemini. But I should probably talk about my blindness a little bit. So I have a form of macular degeneration. I've had it since the age of 7. And so I have no central vision, I only have peripheral vision. Even that, it doesn't allow me to drive. Please, for the love of God, do not ask if glasses can help. Because I feel like that's so silly and foolish. Like, who's never heard of glasses? Like, I have a smartphone, but I can't afford glasses. It's just absurd. But then again, at times too, like, I don't know what to say at wakes and funerals. It's terrible. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. So maybe people just say stupid things like I do at wakes and funerals, like, man, it feels dead in here, because I don't know what to say. So maybe it's just a reaction, but I lost my eyesight at the age of 7. It's still progressively getting worse, but at the same time too, like, I still have enough to be somewhat independent. I do travel with a cane from time to time. I should probably use it more. Oftentimes, I have friends with me. I travel a lot, travel through the airports on my own, travel in different cities. It requires a lot of trust, when you're going places to ask for help. And the cane does help because it allows people to know, like, this person can't see. Because just from the side of me, you'd be like, dude, that person can see. But it's, it's fun. Again, too, it's challenging. But we all face challenges in life. It's what we do to overcome those obstacles in life and those challenges. Again, it goes back to mindset. But yeah, I mean, I don't drive. I work, kind of. But, like, it's been tough in my life to find a long-term fitting position. And I feel, too, it's also not just finding work, but finding work that you enjoy and works for you. Right now, I've been in this position that I'm in now for like 2.5 years, and it's great. And honestly, if one of my very, very close dear friends didn't own the company, I don't know if I'd have a job. So I'm very grateful and like heartfelt and like blessed to have him, and like such a kind individual, and put me in a place to feel successful about the work that I was doing, because I did work probably 6 years ago doing data entry, and I was like straining myself to like enter in 120 charts a day, where everyone else is doing 300 to 350. And like, that's not a positive feeling. Like, the money was not, like, it wasn't great, like, but like, it wasn't a positive feeling because I felt like the weakest link. And so now the job that I'm doing, again, it's not like my dream job, but I'm good at it. I can be proficient, I can feel successful, I can be just as good as the next person doing the job if I apply myself. So it allows me to feel good about the work that I'm doing and bring home a paycheck, which has been a struggle. I have a college degree. If you, again, go to YouTube and click, type in the search Mender highlights, you'll see some of the stuff I've done before in like radio and comedy. Radio is a tough career, it's what my degree is in, but again, too, life happens, and my ultimate goals and where I want to get to. By the way, I'm not sure if you guys can hear the wind chimes. As I said, there's no garage door out here, so you might hear the wind chimes in this 33-degree chilly night. But, such as the pilot episode, we just don't have the funds yet. but we do have the Blantons. But such is life. One of the things you have to do, like I talked about earlier, is have that positive mindset of, I know my mountain in my life and I haven't reached it yet, and life has happened and things along the way have occurred to create that sort of detour or create a sidetrack, but it doesn't mean on an everyday basis you can't positively influence the people you come in contact with or make your life just a little bit better. So that's one thing like I love to promote. I love to live, and I love to make the most of every opportunity from food and alcohol, which, sorry to my boy if you look up Get Fit with Griff on the gram. He's my boy, helped me lose 26 pounds last year. I put 24 pounds back on. Sorry, Griff. I miss you, buddy. Yeah, it's just about getting back after it, Winters are brutal, and I love to drink, and I love to eat, and when it's cold and it's icy, and I don't have transportation to certain facilities, you really have to make a conscious effort to find a partner to work out with, find transportation, or work out at home. And I really kind of dropped the ball on that these last few months, and getting back after it, feeling good. Doing a lot of intermittent fasting, which is 16 hours of not eating and then feeding within an 8-hour period. So that's my thing now, and I'm sure we'll talk about that. I'm a huge fan of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. I love to listen to people that intrigue and push the mind, but can also laugh and not take life too seriously. So if you haven't, check out the Joe Rogan Experience. I find it's very helpful in a variety of ways, but especially when it comes to like health and nutrition. On top of that, I'm trying to think what else I want to get to you people, get to the world in this pilot episode. Oh, yes. So, I want to get to every time we close out, kind of wrap it up now, because again, since this is a pilot, it's like introduction to me, 37, legally blind, worked in radio, sports radio, covered sports, done a lot of comedy. I write, it's working on a screenplay, have been for years. I won't divulge too much because that's one thing. I'll divulge like great ideas in terms of businesses, but in terms of my screenplay, like only my close friends know what it's about. Afraid someone's going to take it, but I think it's fantastic. I truly believe it can win an Academy Award. But at the same time too, like I also think I could like run the country. And this was before Donald Trump was president. So again, and I'm not bashing Trump. I didn't vote for him. He's our American president. So in some aspects, I support him. I don't agree with the stuff he says. Yes, it's funny, but it's very childish and immature. And as an American president, there's not a place for that. But I do think I could be the president of the United States. And I also believe I could manage a baseball team to a World Series title. Any team out there today. Give me any team. I truly believe that. I'm a huge believer in myself and certain capabilities. But then again, I don't believe that like I could do everything, right? Like I don't believe I can necessarily fly a plane, but I feel like if push came to shove and maybe God was on my side, I could land a plane once. But then again, there's so much technology now, like it's so easy to land a plane. It's really not that difficult. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, so I'm writing a screenplay, but I do a lot of positive writing, and you'll see more stuff updated on my website, grabyourpotential.com. You can kind of find out more stuff about me through there. I'm on Twitter as at grabyourpotential, but I'm kind of not sure if I want to link my Twitter and my gram, so that might be changing soon. So I don't want to like promote that too much in that aspect. But before I leave, two things. One, episode number 2, which I'm really, really looking forward to. It's comedic, but also serious because my comedic take on religion and heaven also requires people to think outside the box and not believe everything that they've read. So if you tune in for episode number 2, we are going to talk about religion in heaven, and I think it is fascinating. And I've been writing this idea for a while. I've had this idea, so look forward to episode number 2 being about religion and heaven. But I always want to leave on something I call the one-hitter. And it's not because 420 is in 2 days and I'm a pothead or anything like that. Although, as someone who's legally blind, I might have dabbled a time or two before just to see if it helped my vision, if you know what I mean. Huge fan of edibles, though. But I like to leave on a one-hitter, and the one-hitter is basically just a comedic concept that I've come up with, and I haven't really written around, but I want to share with you guys as I'm going to expand, because I think it's pretty funny, and I think it's got a lot of potential. And, if someone else takes it and builds on it, great. I don't care. I'm not selfish. So here's the one-hitter this week. So 3 days ago was April 15th, which is tax day. It's also my brother's birthday. Happy birthday. But I had to write a rather large amount of money to the government. And large for me is probably just like a normal paycheck for everyone else. But it sucked. It was a kick in the nuts. And I was sitting there at the bar with the lady friend, and I was like, Chrissy, this sending of this check to the government is like a breakup for me. It's emotional. Like, it's over. Like, it's never coming back. And all I can think about is like the good times we could have had together, me and money. The $4,500 that I just paid in taxes, like, we could have had a great time together. Like, all the good times, like where we could have gone, what we could have ate, and now it's gone. And it's never coming back. And there's nothing I can do to get that money back. And then you start to think about it like a whole nother, like, treating money like an ex. Is like, and 4 months from now, when I think about that money, I'm going to be wondering, like, what is my money doing today? And it's probably like paving roads, building schools, doing something great for the society, or for society and the community. And what am I doing? Drinking Blantons on a couch in an unfinished garage making videos. Like, it's moved on, and it's doing wonderful things. And here I am drinking. Cheers. So that's my one-hitter for this week. Again, tune in for the next episode, again, which will be religion, and it will be heaven. And I'm not sure what we're going to be drinking yet. I doubt it's going to be the Blantons. I'll probably switch to Trace, maybe a bottle of wine. Again, we'll switch over from time to time. You probably won't see me drinking IPAs for a while because I'm trying to shed this. And IPAs are my favorite. They are so delicious. But being blind, I was just told recently that there's 200 calories basically in every IPA, since I don't see labels and I don't read labels. And apparently now everyone's putting calories on menus, and I hate it when people tell me what I ordered. Like, oh, just so you know, that is 1,700 calories. But it's better like not knowing. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. So I'm not sure what we're drinking in the next episode, but it'll be something delicious and great. And again, I'm going to sign off every episode of The Blind Observer, Nightcap, Episode 1, the pilot edition. But every episode, I'm going to leave you on this note. Remember, in life, it's about progress, not perfection. It's about taking the steps forward. As long as you have progress, you're moving in the right direction. So on that note, cheers, bottoms up, and as Snoop Dogg once said, till the next episode.